Welcome to the Deep Dive into Health podcast, where each month we dive deep into a health topic such as sleep, productivity, sex, and diet, to name a few, with the goal of becoming the best version of ourselves with daily interviews. Now, before we get started, repeat after me. I play all out. I see opportunities where others see impossibility. I contribute to something bigger than myself. I stay focused and take massive action. I am unstoppable. I am a decision maker. Hey decision makers, today's episode is brought to you by Audible. If you haven't heard of Audible, it's the easiest way to listen to audiobooks. If you don't have an Audible account currently, you can get a free audiobook today and a 30-day free trial to Audible as well. If you don't like it, which I doubt it, you can cancel before the 30 days are up and still keep the book. Isn't that amazing? There's a huge range of titles available, but I highly recommend you read Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's the closest thing to a must read. Learn an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. Audiobooks are a great tool. We're constantly on the move, right? Well, with Audible, there's no need to sit down. You can listen while you're driving, exercising, taking a shower, pretty much anything. My favorite is while I'm doing chores around the house, like cleaning dishes. I honestly now look forward to putting clothes away because it's my time to learn. Another great thing about Audible is the ability to listen across several devices without losing your spot. I don't know about you, but I hate when I lose my spot in my book. Get your free audiobook and start your free 30-day Audible trial by going to audibletrial.com/John. Once again, that's audibletrial.com/YOHN. All right, decision makers, before we kick into today's episode, I have a special gift just for you. For many years, I learned. I would read books and take courses, but my life was still the same. Over and over, I would hear the quote, "Knowledge is power." And then one day I heard Tony Robbins say, "Knowledge is not power." And it hit me like a lightning bolt. Knowledge is not power. It's what you do with that knowledge and the actions that you take that will change your life. It took me years, but now I have an action-taking system, and my life has never been the same. I believe this will change your life too. Go get your free action-taking system at johndiaz.com. Again, that's YOHNDIAZ. Once again, that's YOHNDIAZ.com and download your free gift. Oh, and you'll also receive a weekly email with a summary of what the episodes for that week are going to be all about. All right, decision makers, welcome to season 1 of the Dive Deep into Health podcast. In season 1, we are going to dive deep into sleep. Why sleep? I'll share a quick story. Like if it was yesterday, I remember my wife waking up at 6 a.m. to tell me she was in labor. Funny story about this was that the night before, we had been role-playing about it. I had told her, I was like, hey, we need to make sure that you know how to communicate with me, that this is the time. And sure enough, at 6 a.m., I remember, just like if it was yesterday, she leaned over to touch my shoulder. And like if I had a sixth sense, I just rolled over and I looked at her like, hey, I'm ready. You don't even have to wake me up. Now, why do I bring this up? Well, all my life up to this point, all I had ever wanted was to be a father, right? That was my dream. And that dream was about to become a reality. I wanted to be the best father there ever was. But deep down, really what I wanted was to be the father I never had. You see, I lost my father when I was 6 months old. By 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I was holding my baby boy Lucas in my hands. There was no one happier in this world than me. I can vividly remember every second of it and kissing his right foot when the doctor was giving him a little checkup. That night, I made it my goal to allow my wife to recover and take care of my son. That meant that every time he woke up, I would grab him. Every diaper I changed. And when it was mealtime, I would wake up, I would grab him, and I would take him to my wife and help her any way that I could. I was by Lucas' side every single second. I was taking little naps in between feedings and his little checkups. I did this for 2 days. Then something happened I'll never forget. At about 5 a.m. on day 2, I fell asleep and I didn't wake up until, let's say, sometime around noon. I was completely shocked. The time didn't make sense, right? The nurses and doctors were coming in every 2 to 3 hours. How could I not hear them? To my surprise, not only had doctors and nurses been walking in this whole time, but my family and friends had come to see Lucas as well, and I didn't hear anyone. It was like my body needed sleep, and for the first time in my life, I realized that if I didn't give it the sleep it needed, then my body wouldn't function properly. You see, the reason I mention this story is because the younger we are, the less we focus on sleep. There's this association, especially when you're young, that sleep doesn't matter, that it's cool to stay up and pull all-nighters. If you're an entrepreneur, it's even cool to sacrifice sleep for success, right? Now, my goal here is not to shame you because I've been in your shoes, right? I've been that person that put sleep behind. My goal this month is for you to learn about the importance of sleep and how to get better quality sleep, so that you can become the best version of yourself. Many people don't realize it, but sleep is essential to your overall health. According to healthline.com, sleep keeps us healthy and functioning well. It lets your brain and body repair, store, and re-energize. If you don't get enough sleep, you might experience side effects like poor memory and focus, weakened immunity, and mood changes. So John, how do I get the most out of this season? Well, here are my 3 recommendations on how you can get the most out of this season. Number 1, understand that there's no single path to success. There's no silver bullet. Listen to each interview and look for the patterns that are repeated. Give them a try, and if they make sense for you, keep trying them. 2, listen to these stories with the goal of being inspired and looking for a mentor. Number 3, be open-minded and think with the mind of a beginner. The expert, or the person who says, I know, has little to learn. But the beginner is curious and its mind is open and empty. Remember, knowledge is not power, but potential power. It's the action that you take with the things that you learn that will change your life and make you a decision maker. Go get your free action taking system at johndiaz.com. Once again, that's YOHNDIAZ.com to learn how to turn these lessons into action. Thank you so much for tuning in. I don't take your time lightly, and I appreciate that you made the decision to listen to the podcast today. Now, don't forget to subscribe to the show, and finally, please take a minute to rate and review the podcast. Once again, thank you for listening, and remember, you are a decision maker, and you are just confidence away.